API start here in a React application. It is concretely tank, Go asynchronous process, and it is important. Here it is hypertext transfer protocol. What means that communicate to web application. It means that React Node.js server embed web server and web client also. And hypertext transfer protocol, it means it is a request from a web client to express. And express, we will look, this is hypertext transfer protocol. And React and Express is in the same Node.js server. Localhost, and here it is endpoint hypertext transfer protocol. And what would be in response? It would be here and data go to Redux to reducer. Okay, but this React side, this is React side, communicate, it is React side of API, communicate by hypertext transfer protocol with, let's get see, with Express. Express is web application. Because of that, can communicate by protocol hypertext transfer protocol. And here it is that route for in Express side. Express is web application, separate web application, what we must separate start, and why it is separate from React side request part and the React side. Why Express is not with React together and start same time? Because of, again, because of first letter in solid acronym. Separation by goals. Goals of expert is communicate in this situation, communicate with a relation database management system, concretely here, and take care about that. This concretely express separate web application can communicate with other React application, not only with one React application. And complete development of this Express web application is complete development is separate goals. Backend communicate with database, and React is front end and take care about user interface and designing user interface. And we start and we have separate two front end application React and Express web application backend. And we see here again get here. It is method of hypertext transfer protocol, and that get is here method of app, because in configuration of Express we declare all in this Express code. And for example, this Express communicate with MySQL by MySQL 2 MySQL 2 protocol. MySQL, we don't interested in about that protocol. It functions excellent and it's all okay. And it is API. API limits of API. API. Every API is one structure, and we must know limits of that structure. It is learning. You take a pen and paper in your table and write, draw this API, concretely department root. Start in this API, start here, like tanh function, and all what I now select, it is this part of API, and that React side communicate with Express. Okay, see it, Express. Here it is. I can select it, and this backend, Express backend, communicate with MySQL, with the Relation Database Management System. And most important here is a query in SQL language. Here it is, select asterisk from select all from department, it means. And that a query would be sent to MySQL. MySQL put a result of that SQL, put in object results, and that results go with the response object. With response object, together with response object, you look at, here it is results, in a JSON format, go to inside of, like part of response, go to tanh, React tanh, and React tanh received data and dispatch data to reducer, etc. This is a story about API. And when you look at what you must know about API concretely here, it is React this backside, Express. You must know the most important knowledge is select SQL query. It is knowledge what you must know. All others here is administrative coding. What we need code, we can look at it like boilerplate, what we must code for every API. But knowledge, you must know SQL language. Here about in React side, you must understand tanh and understand Redux and how communicate this API. And API is for receive, for fetch, concretely here for fetch data. And what we does with that, what React does on React Redux, how use that data, it is other story. And I spoke about a limit of API. What is API? What is API? And now you see that concretely limit and functionality and what you must need. You will very often listen and read restful, that it is a restful endpoint address. Here it is. What is restful? And you may be confused because uh, thinking what I must know about RESTful, how endpoint, how is address and communication, network communication is RESTful. What communication is RESTful? Uh, Web application. Every web communication on the web application communication is RESTful because REST means it is a short title of one doctorate of or graduate, I forgot, graduate student in about 2000 year. And what that student did, it is write document where he write properties, properties of characteristic of web communication, a web network, and it is only constatation about that kind of communication. For example, the most known rule of web communication is that after communicate finished, no one side don't know nothing about with whom it communicate. Don't know nothing with whom it communicate. It means communication and participants in communication. Uh, all about participants would be disappear after communication finished, and it is I think we can call it stateless communication. Okay, and it means that you see very often in explanation in textbook on the internet restful, but it is nothing important to say when we spoke about when we learning concretely here API and it is by the most used communication, hypertext transfer communication, of course, but on the web. But there is a lot of other protocols what can be uh, in special cases used. And you ask ChatGPT for other communication, you will see a lot of protocols for other specials. And okay, when you look at now in this part, it is like boilerplate. You must understand, of course, this, but it is repeatedly for it is get request. It is here it is post request and put request and delete request and put. It is for request, hypertext transfer request. Here it is Axios library, very often, and the fetch. Axios we must install, and fetch is built in React. But Axios is simpler coding and very popular. But fetch is there is one part, something more coding, like again like boilerplate. We must copy paste, and But fetch library is built in. It means that application is lighter if we have a fetch. If we use fetch, then if we use Axios, what we must install in our application from outside. Uh, okay, this is React side, user interface side. It communicates with backend backend side. That backend Express web application in JavaScript write it. You must know that SQL query in this concretely situation, and you must know also database. You must know design database, what you need for your program. And because front end is front end, but developers means wider than programmers. Developers, concretely here, you see developers, front end developers, but there is a lot of job with backend and SQL query and database. Of course, in big company, there is a separation of working places of job, but in small company, you must be full stack. Full stack. It is today very, very important to be full stack because artificial ChatGPT today coding, not you. And now, because you don't coding front end, don't coding back end, you must know prompt. And if you deep understand, deep learning, front end and back end, concretely situation JSX, JavaScript, and here in this situation, SQL language, you will enjoy because you will know prompt with you will know write prompt to ChatGPT, and a lot of job would be done. I'm very satisfied in it with the artificial intelligence. I almost don't code, but I am teacher. I must understand and I must be excellent in explanation, and like student must be excellent in learning, in process of learning. Of course, I like teacher must be excellent in process of teaching. And today I write in some post when the students, of course, use ChatGPT and use my explanation. And of course, if in moment when ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, would be better explained than me, student is measured that. In that moment, my job is finished. But personally, my own thinking, it would be never happened. But what happened? It happened that would be less teacher's position. Would be less teacher's position. Artificial would not be ever better from men in teaching, but all other what artificial does means less teachers job. Because, for example, I must a lot of coding, type code, Student also must type code. Student don't need type code. If my code now is on the Git, and I must explain that code, and the student listen and must understand that code. And when all understand, would be prompt what want would be prompt to artificial what he wants. But in all this must have structure. For example, my structure is that CRUD is fundament, and I created CRUD in Tank1 application, deep learning, etc. And I said every table in relation database, every table need CRUD. And of course, how many tables, so many CRUD. I said artificial code or code CRUD for this table. And for some seconds, I have a code. Because I know why I need to type it. And typing in process of learning disappear. But pen and paper never disappear. It is on the table. You stop video, drawing with hand, with pen on the paper, drawing your topic in that moment, and listen again and listen again, stop, listen, write, drawing on the paper, because you're finding structure in learning. And no knowledge is chaos. And from no knowledge, we must take structure for everything. And the structure is knowledge. And you can eat without paper, because on the screen you see one part, but on the paper in sketch, in some sketch, you see big plane, goal of component and elements and features on that component. And on other pages you can write other component and connect. Like here, you said, okay, API start here, and take a line to express, and say yourself, here it is, here it is, a second part of that API, a knowledge query. You must know create query, because this express, this part, backend part of API is a lot of SQL query. Every of this root, there is a query. There is a query. Every there is some. You see, there is a query, and all what we need on the user interface, we must write query here. Okay, it is a structure. It is structure. On the one paper, you drawing one square and write React side of API, and drawing line, other square. In other square, you're writing backend side of API, and after that, MySQL, our database, like third part. User interface, there is one part. Backend, there is other part, and MySQL is third part of API. Here, here is example of API with mock server. Mock server is any company can give free, for example, mock server, and it created in some web application, and created some endpoint address. And here it is this platform mock API. I open free possibility for free API and give me this number and this address, okay, endpoint address, and I use it in API. It is all. I don't understand software on that mock API, but I know that software would react in my API and execute all CRUD, create a new post, update existing post, delete post, and read post. Okay. It is all about API, RESTful API, mock server, mock API, and here is connect to MySQL relation database management system. Okay, there is also very popular, most popular MongoDB. It is a NoSQL language. It is JSON. Use JSON like database, and my next project would be with Mongo, and Mongo. I used MongoDB because relation database and Mongo, NoSQL language, can be used in same time with one user interface, React front end, and it depends what we does in our application, what we use. And relation database, there is advances in some part, and NoSQL, there is advances in some part, and today both is practically useful. Of course, MongoDB is JavaScript, and of course, like it can have something advances in performance, but okay, I have not experience, but very important. Performance usually means response fast. Who is faster? Performance. Who is faster? But it is not so important. It is less important than sustainability, maintainability. It means code for who is better maintenance, code who is better in some situation for sustained, and performance is not only fast, to be fast, who is faster, but also a lot of all others properties of some application. Okay, it's all for this video. IK here. Thank you for watching. Say your friends about this video if you think they need it, and comment, ask, engage, subscribe, because your engagement is better learning for all of us. Thank you again. Until next time. Thank you for watching this video.